Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa mawala amma ba'd. Brothers and sisters, welkom voor deze mooie gezegende avond die wij onverwacht deze lezing hebben mogen organiseren. En eergisteren kreeg ik een telefoontje van broeder Aman of wij hier vanavond een lezing kunnen geven van een geleerde uit Jemen. En ik zal even verwelkomen in het Engels. Mijn Engels is niet zo goed, maar ik ga proberen, inshallah. Om deze geweldige avond te openen. Sheikh, it is for me a great honor to welcome you. On behalf of Rukun Islam, PPMA Den Haag, and Al-Fat, may Allah grant us for this blessing evening that we here together to listen your lecture. Inshallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us more blessings. Inshallah. I will give to Brother Aman. Maybe you have more things how the program should be.
No. Your English is already perfect. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, Ustad Fauzi, do you have a link to the YouTube channel? Can somebody share?
It's already shared.
It's already shared, okay, because Brother Edo, he's asking for it. And Brother Edo, just to begin with that, Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik alayhi. Brother Edo is our remote control, mashallah, because he is in Yemen. He is in Tarim, and he is controlling us, controlling the movement of this Sheikh Sayyid Zain-Al Haddad, of which his name Al Haddad we've heard so many times already, mashallah. For those who came for the Fajr challenges and still are coming for the Sunday, for the Jum'ah challenges also. For me, Jum'ah is also a challenge to come in the evening because I have children and anyone. Anyway, but Al Haddad is not unfamiliar to us, and mashallah, bi'ithnillah, alhamdulillah, we have a descendant of Imam Al Haddad in our midst. May Allah be pleased with him, with his ancestors, going up to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rests me to say, if we look at the title of this short dawrah, what was it? Can somebody help me? What it was? In turbulent times, trust in Allah is, I think, very applicable for us, and it's always a theme that comes back. And may He give us some enlightenments on that. Moreover, looking at this audience of shabab, of young Muslim future or already leaders. Maybe can give us more ingredients how to become that leader who is righteous and upright for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So far, تفضل. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
The mic is that because of online, is it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Bismillah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah rabbil alamin. Allahumma salli ala sayyidina Muhammad. Allahumma salli wa sallim ala miftahi abwab rahmatik. Ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa ahli mahabbatik wa ta'atik. Tadaraka ummatahu bi sari'i ghathatik. Forgive me, this is just happened now on the way here, but before that, terima kasih. Allah, I'm going to keep speaking like this. Afwan. Okay. Bismillah. Can I just invite, perhaps if you want to sit here, a bit more comfortable? I think it looks like it's a bit cramped over there. Maybe one or two of you can there's space, so we can use the space. So is everyone here a seeker of knowledge, is a student of knowledge? Is everyone here like a regular attending the classes and but it's okay. Tak masuk angin. What the meaning?
No enter wind.
One time Imam Malik bin Anas radiallahu anhu, what you can say the founding father of the Maliki school. Is anybody Maliki here? Maliki madhab? Ya salam. MashaAllah. Imam Malik, one time when he entered the city of Medina and people were celebrating him, and it was a very grand affair, like a sultan entering a city. And very, very special, a parade and I guess horses and camels, and then he went to his room downstairs or something like this, and then one of his students went to visit him, and it was a very simple room with very humble surroundings, and didn't look very fancy, didn't look very average, rather it looked very, I'm gonna be here all night. It looked a little bit poor, So the student asked him, Yani, what is this condition that you're in? Just now upstairs, an hour ago, the whole parade and the whole celebration with the food, all about you. Now you're here like this. He said that was for ilm. To allow people to give veneration towards ilm and scholars. This is all what I need in this room. So inshallah, this is just, I'm not a person of ilm, but this is just to follow the tradition of Imam Malik, to allow that distinction, just we have as Muslims, we have respect for the mihrab, for the pulpit. It's a special place. So on that concession, I suppose. One time Imam Malik was with his students and they were in Medina. Inshallah, may Allah gather us in Madinah al-Munawwara. For those who have not been there, we get to go there, and for those who have been there, our hearts will remain there. You imagine this is Imam Malik, right, the teacher of Imam Shafi'i, and they're all walking together to visit the tomb of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. And then as they approach the tomb, they notice that Imam Malik was not there with them anymore. So, where's Imam Malik? Where's our teacher? We want to visit the tomb with him. And then they found him, like maybe say 20 meters behind, just standing alone. And they said to him, Ya Imam, are you not going to be with us in the ziyarah? Are you not going to come and visit the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ? Are you going to visit him? To which Imam Malik said, yes, but I'm shy. So I'm shy to visit the Prophet. is I wonder, if we ever reach that station for any of us to think about it and we want to visit the Prophet Sallam, there is element of, I'm shy, to consider to be in the presence of the Prophet Sallam. Some of the teachers, I think because it's been mentioned a few times, I'd be a bit more comfortable to mention it here. So I live in a city called Tarim, in the governorate called Hadramaut, which is in the eastern part of Yemen. A lot of people understand that Yemen is a place of war, and that's mostly in the western part. So I live in the eastern part, so we're not really as affected as other people are. Well, the scholars of some of the scholars of Yemen, or rather I emphasize the scholars of Hadramaut. Some of them, when they used to go to Medina to visit the Prophet ﷺ, now in today's time, if you go by land, it's about 24 hours drive. If you drive, and there are people who drive. Yeah, but if you take a flight, it's about 2 hours. So they go to Madinah al-Munawwarah. When they get to Medina, they will pray at the mosque. Fajr, Dhuhr, Asr, Isha, Maghrib. They will pray at the mosque. But they will not visit the Prophet ﷺ. They will not go and visit. They will not go and do ziyarah of the tomb. First day, second day, third day, they won't do it. What they do is that in the first 3 days, they will pray at the mosque, and then they go shopping. They buy new clothes. They get a haircut. They clean their nails. Then on the third day, maybe the fourth day, when they're settled, tranquil, sakina, and calm, then they put on the new clothes, put on a new perfume with a new haircut, then they go visit. Now, such is the ihtiram, and they don't want to go and visit when their heart is still not at ease. They don't want to go and visit unless they're wearing the most expensive clothes, because it's a day of Eid, the day of Lebaran, right? The day of Hari Raya. You have to celebrate, you get to visit, so you dress your best. Sayyidina Ali bin Abi Talib says, any day that you are not sinning, that you don't commit any ma'asiyah, any day that you don't commit any sin, that's the day of Eid. People talk about, after Ramadan, Yom al-Eid, or after Al-Hajj, or Yom al-Eid. Any day that you don't commit any sin is the day of Eid. So it's interesting to see the outlook of these people. Alhamdulillah, we're at Rukun Islam. I didn't realize that there was going to be such a party tonight. I thought it was a Tuesday night. Tuesday night is normally a night for the home. But blessed are the people that come together. We have 5 Rukun Islam, 5 pillars of Islam, yes? The Arkan of Islam, the pillars of Islam. So Rukun is one of the pillars. Forgive me, the sniffing just started. We were in the car, we were fine. Something happened, I think, when we came out. Allahu Alam. It happened last night as well. Maybe it's you. I'm kidding. I was staying in his house. Allah reward him. No, it's okay, it'll be fine. It's just a half an hour like that, I'll go away. Anyway, so the first pillar of Islam is Shahada, to testify the faith. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. The second one is to pray 5 times a day. And they say that of all the pillars, the 5 pillars of Islam, this second is the Amid, is the, in the normal tent that you have nowadays. How is the tent? It's like that, the pillars, like the 4 corners, huh? Thank God for these cards, okay. Right, like that, and then you put a canvas, right? But in the Arabian tent, it's like this. You have a pillar in the middle, and then you have maybe 4 corners or 5 corners or 6 corners, but you have a pillar in the middle. So the second pillar of Islam, 5 times a day to pray, is like this. Yu'tabar is considered like this. The Amid, the main pillar of the tent. Now, that's the second pillar of Islam. The third pillar of Islam is to fast in Ramadan, right? Or to have zakat, to pay zakat. And then the 4th pillar would be Ramadan. Ramadan is special because of all the prophets fasting was something that all monotheistic religions did in the past. They all did it. Nabi Isa, Nabi Musa, all of those nations, they fasted. Nabi Dawood. The Quraysh also prayed. They had bowing and prostrating, the Kafir Quraysh of Makkah. They also had Hajj, pilgrimage. They also had charities like zakat, but they didn't have fasting. Only the monotheistic religion was given the option, or was given the availability of not doing is also ibadah. All you have to do is just not eat, and that's considered as doing. Right? You can't go there to work and you say, boss, I'm not doing anything. Oh, it's okay, you're doing something. No. But in Islam, Allah has given us that. The difference is that the nation of Muhammad, Islam, was given a season of fasting, of not doing. We were given a 1 full month of fasting. Anyhow, those are the first 4 pillars of Islam. The last pillar of Islam is Hajj, if you're able to, right? Hajj, to make Hajj if you're able to. And Hajj is a great affair because besides it being an act of pilgrimage, people going there and doing something, it was also, you might not appreciate this in this day and age, but Hajj was also a time when scholars used to meet, teachers used to meet, books were exchanged, dictionaries were exchanged, right? People travel 1 month, 2 months, 3 months just to get to Hajj. And sometimes when they get to Hajj, Hajj has passed. So they will stay there for another 11 months to wait for next year's Hajj because they missed it. This happened for some people. And sometimes even if they don't miss it, they still stay there for a few months. You know, you travel for 1 month, you're not going to stay there for 2 days and go back, or 5 days or whatever. So they will stay there. And that's where they will meet scholars. They will meet people, and books will exchange. Relationship will exchange. Perhaps some people got married, some people did business, whatever might be the case. So it's an important point regarding gathering. Forgive me. To meet is a very great affair, right? And like how we're meeting today. That is ni'mah of we meeting each other, handshakes, looking each other in the eye, saying Salaam alaikum, hi, how are you? A foreigner can come to this town and meet people and be honored with presence, be honored with smiles, be honored with your ears and your time and your effort, with drinks and so forth, as opposed to saying, send those migrants back. No, it's not the way of Islam. It's not the way of Islam to say, we are taxpayers, send these guys back. These guys don't pay tax, send them back. We don't speak like that. It's a very dangerous language that we have in democratic countries, right? We are taxpayers, it's taxpayers' money, okay. So that means that, does that mean in grave you have a better Jannah than someone who didn't pay tax? No. If that was the language that was adopted, that's the attitude that's adopted, would the Ansar be the Ansar and not accept the Muhajirin? The Ansar was the people in Medina, in Yathrib. And when the people of Makkah, the Muhajirun, they left Makkah and they went to Medina, went to Yathrib, which will later become Medina. And what did the people of Medina do? Ahlan wa sahlan. You need a house, stay in my house. I have 2 houses. You take 1 house, I take 1 house. You need money to do business, I give you money, you go do business. To the point that they became the Ansar, right? The people who helped the helpers. Such a high station Prophet gave them. There are people who are running away from Makkah, being persecuted, and they say, Ahlan wa sahlan, come to our village and we will serve you, we will help you. We become brothers now. And alhamdulillah, this is a manifestation of it. This is a manifestation that we get to meet. We mentioned this earlier in the talk earlier in Rotterdam. Do you imagine someone like us, if you were to understand the opposite, if you were atheist, Yadu Billah, or if someone was to be atheist and he travels to Amsterdam, or travels to The Hague, or travels to, I don't know how you guys feel about Belgium, but say travel to, say Brussels, okay. Would they have such interactions like this? Would they meet fellow atheists and say, hi, how are you? Come to my house. come to our markaz, come, let's eat together. Maybe they continue talking a little bit about the non-existence of God, and that's it. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. You go to a hotel, you go to a shopping mall, you leave the city, that nobody knows you, nobody whatever. But as Muslims, we come together like this. We stand in one line, clean, the place is clean. We put our forehead together at the same time, in one line, facing the Qibla, mimicking the way the angels used to pray as well, straight line, like how they were at the Battle of Badr, like how they were Battle of Uhud, straight line. And how they say, like in the battles, a crooked line is a cause for friction between the hearts of Muslims, right? A crooked line in battle is a cause for problems to come between the hearts of Muslims. So likewise, a straight line will be a cause for affection, for love to come in the hearts of the Muslim. So standing in straight line for prayer is not just because the law of Islam says you have to stand straight. Yes, there's a legal aspect to it, there's an outward aspect to it, but the inward aspect to it is an affection will be had between the hearts of the Muslim. So be careful with the people who are not keen to stand straight in line. Help them understand why it's important to stand straight in line. Because trust me, if the nur of Muhammad, if his inward light was in existence before Adam became water and clay, before his outward appearances was made to manifest, then indeed his teaching of telling us to have a straight line definitely has an inward effect. It's not just an outward effect. For sure. 100%. Forgive me, let me just do this one more time and hopefully it'll be the last. Ya salam. It's okay, Bismillah. Inshallah, I'll be the last. Bismillah. Anyway, we mentioned about the Battle of Badr, right? What happened at the Battle of Badr? Can anybody give, well, how many Muslims were there? Can anyone share the numbers? How many Muslims came to the Battle of Badr? It wasn't 11-side, okay? We're not talking about football. It was a proper legendary battle. How many Muslims you have? 313. Tamam, 313. Oh. I don't know. Is it legal in most countries? I hope so. Ya salam. If I keep going, will it? No kidding. Anyway. 313 people from a weak, poor, and new community. Weak, poor, and new community. Up against 1,000 noblemen, rich and strong. Right? And yet they won that battle. The legendary epic Battle of Badr. I mentioned this the other night. Just to remind the Muslims, perhaps, not to get carried away, even Muslims of this time, not just the Muslims involved. Because sometimes we get carried away with the talk of strategy and what is sensical, what is nonsensical, what is common sense, what is not common sense. Prophet ﷺ, before he went to battle, he looked at the enemy, he took some sand on the ground, and he threw it in their direction. And all 1,000 men felt sand entering their eyes, all 1,000 men. And then later Allah reveals in the Quran that indeed when you threw, it was not you who threw, it was us. So Allah that threw the sand. Such is a grand affair. But falling before that moment, because we're talking about turbulent times, trusting in Allah, what was happening before the battle? Anybody recall? Right before the battle. What was happening with the Muslims right before the battle? Do you want Instagram? No. The Prophet ﷺ was making dua. He's making dua in his tent. He's making so much dua. He's making dua, Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum, Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum, Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum, Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum. So much so that it made Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq afraid. He was scared looking at Sayyidina Prophet ﷺ making dua in such an intense manner, intense fashion. Then he says, surely Allah will grant us victory. Surely Allah will grant us victory. He says, stop, yeah. Then he said, Prophet to stop. The point that I'm trying to say is that there's only sometimes we have to realize there's only so much that we can do on one aspect, and also sometimes what we ought to be doing before we try to do what we can do. That we begin with having that trust in Allah, and that trust in Allah is manifested with making dua. Right? Because then when the trouble comes, we'll be firm. I mean, talk about the level of firmness that had on the Muslims. If you now take 3 guys and put them up against 10 guys, and you're on fire, for example, right? Your 2 friends will be run away before the 10 guys come. And they were not just 3 against 10. It was 3 guys, for example, let's just say, who did 2 classes in Jiu-Jitsu up against Karate 5th Dan. And they've got the uniform, and they've got the horses, and they've got the weaponry, and you got 1 horse. That's all, 1 camel, I don't know what it was. But yet they stood there firm. And why did they stood firm? If it wasn't because of the straight lines that the commanders emphasize on, be straight, must be straight. And yet the siwak, and yet the dua before they started. I say this because we live in a largely secular world in this day and age, that people tend to not, in their calculation of what is successful and what is a failure, dua is no longer there, or metaphysics is no longer there. It's all about what he did and what I did, what the finance department said, what the accounting department said, what the management did, mismanagement, politics, da, 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 da. But we forget that somewhere along the way that there might be shaitan involved, trying to spoil the project. How many mosques have you seen that the committee members of the mosque they fight? How many times have Muslims come together to do a project and then something went wrong and then they start arguing and then they fight, the project fall apart? And the project wasn't a complicated project, wasn't a difficult project, but it keeps on falling down, falling away. Things keep happening. And I'm saying that because when we remove the metaphysics from this, when we don't realize that there's a shaitan involved, or that people have emotions, people have difficult days, then you're going to fight, for example, you're going to fight with that friend, for example, Ridwan, or he was having a bad temper, he always came late to the office and he did this. Until he dies, you're going to have it in your heart. He's made a mistake. But if you have an element of rahmah or mercy, that you know what, maybe circumstances got the better of him. Perhaps that day shaitan was with him and he got affected. Now some people think, oh, come on, I'm a strong guy, I have iman, the shaitan's not going to get to me. There's a story of 2 shaitans. 2 shaitans having a conversation, okay? One was fat and happy, fat, comfortable, at ease. And the other one was a skinny one, like what you see. So they were having a conversation, the shaitan. And the fat shaitan, now when we say 2 people or 2 things who are keeping company together or being best friends, what do you understand? You understand like this, right? Shoulder to shoulder. That's what you understand. I always keep company with him, shoulder to shoulder. You don't understand him as carrying him on the back, piggybagging him, or you don't understand him as riding on his neck, on the shoulder, like controlling him like an animal, right? You don't imagine that. It's 2 people who are together. Right, I'll get to that point. So the fat shaitan asked the skinny shaitan, what's the matter with you? Why are you like this? You look tired and skinny. Huh? What's the matter with you? Like you're malnourished. He says, I've been assigned to take care of a son of Adam, a human being, son of Adam. And everything that he does, he says Bismillah. When he wants to enter his house, he says Bismillah. When he wants to eat, he says Bismillah. When he's with his wife, he says Bismillah. When he wants to go to work, he says Bismillah. As a result of which, I am prevented from everything that he earns and he enjoys. Everything that he earns and he enjoys, I am prevented from it. I don't get a portion of it. Right? Everything that he earns is his. He gets it. Then the skinny one asks the fat one, what about you? So I'm good, I'm happy. I've been assigned to take care of a son of Adam, and he is heedless. When he wants to eat, he doesn't say Bismillah. When he wants to go to his wife, he doesn't say Bismillah. When he enters his house, he doesn't say Bismillah. When he goes to work, he doesn't say Bismillah. I get everything that he gets. So I'm happy and fat. I get everything that he gets, and I'm always with him. Like this? No. So I ride him like a beast. I'm riding him like a beast. That's the situation of the person who does not protect himself with something as simple as Bismillah. We're not asking you to get a postgraduate diploma, a degree, not asking to open a bank account. There's a sense of protection. The rahmah of Allah, rahmah is like so vast. It's available to everyone. Just say Bismillah in whatever that we want to do. And that Bismillah is not just a matter of our identity as Muslims. Come on, get over this identity, sir. Don't focus too much on that, sir. Focus on the haqiqah of it, the essence of it. Right? When the Prophet ﷺ was being a Muslim in Mecca, in Medina, were they very focused on what people were thinking about them? No, they were focused on manifesting the haqiqah, the essence of something. Right? If you take a light bulb, at least in the old school, when you had the filament light bulb, the greater the filament, the brighter it will shine. Let the truth speak for itself. That's why some mashaykh, they don't agree with people debating about Islam in the middle of the street, in the middle of the park. This is how we do it. The truth will speak for itself. Our job is to be a clean vessel to hold trust and carry that truth in the best way possible. So that's how we receive the trust of our elders. We take it and we hold that trust properly and we allow it to be carried to the people after us. An example of the truth carrying itself, when the Prophet ﷺ came to Medina, there's a famous Jew, Abdullah bin Salam. He said he looked at the Prophet ﷺ when he was approaching Medina. He said, "Hada laysa wajh al-kadhab." He said, that is not the face of a liar. So I became Muslim. We didn't say anything, right? Because that light was so bright. He didn't have to prove whether to wear a thobe or have to prove I'm a Muslim or I'm this, I'm that. This is what we stand for. This is what. There was an unfortunate situation. There was a man who eventually became Muslim, alhamdulillah, a white British chap. He asked a girl who was wearing hijab, he said, "Why do you wear the hijab? Why do you wear this?" And she starts talking, "Oh, my identity and my culture and my this and my that. Or for my parents." And after all that, he was thinking, where is God in all of this? I thought this was done because of God. And she's talking about this whole thing about identity and culture and tradition. And where is God? It would have been as simple as, I wear this because God told me to. Boom, firm. Have you seen one of those guys? One of those sheikhs, you ask a question and the guy says, I don't know. But he doesn't apologize for not knowing. I don't know. And you have a sense of respect for that firmness, don't you? And let's like how that light is bright and firm. Firm. And those simple things, as we go back, those simple things like praying in the Saf, making sure it's correct. Those simple things like that will help us being firm in these things. Because then we're clear, what we have is what we have, and what we have is amazing. Like I said, the gathering of these brothers. People who appreciate the smiles that we get, the hellos that we get, the food that we share. It's all amazing. I'm not asking you to try yourself being an atheist, but go hang out with the atheist and see what you get. If you're lucky, huh? Before I move on, and I'm scared I go off not on a correct tangent. Is there any comments or any questions? I just want to invite the brothers very briefly before we go on. We've gone half an hour now. Now, if there's any questions or comments at all, whether it's about Ya salam. Wa ana kadhalik. I say, I love you for the sake of Allah. We might be talking about this earlier. That Allah is a part of the night Allah asks, Aina mutahabina fillah wa aina mutazawirina fillah. So where are the people who love each other for the sake of Allah? Where are the people who visit each other for the sake of Allah? These are the people whose station in paradise will be placed on pulpits made of pearls, and they will shine as such that the prophets and the martyrs, the anbiya and the shuhada, will look at them with envy. And they are placed in that position because they were people who love their brothers for Allah's sake. They are people who visit each other for Allah's sake. So it's a very great affair. And again, we mentioned only those who truly know this will stand in firm, will be firm. So when the troubled times come, you'll be cool. You won't be shaken. Bismillah.
One question, please. Can you tell me more about how to think of Bismillah?
Oh. I can't. I can tell you some things about Bismillah, but I can't tell you about Hakim Bismillah. I'm thinking there's a whiteboard. No? Never mind. I think most of you have studied some level of Arabic or a little bit of Arabic. Okay. So we know that when there's a book that has Allah's name, it should not be, any book rather, shouldn't be on the floor. But if there's a book that has Allah's name, it should not be below a book that doesn't have Allah's name. And if there's two books that have Allah's name, the book that has more names of Allah should be on top of the one that has less. And therefore, likewise in the Quran, should be the highest level. So as a hierarchy, so to speak, right? And we know that names mean something. Names have an effect on things. And if people say, no, words don't mean anything, if somebody were to take your name and write, or take a piece of paper and write your name on a piece of paper and put it on the floor and step on that piece of paper, you'll be hurt. You'll be affected. Why is this guy disrespecting me? Allah, MashaAllah. Ya salam. I'm left-handed. Come. Okay. Come. Thank you very much. So, names are something that count a lot. Names are something that matter. Yeah. Now, so if you put someone's name on a piece of paper and you look at the person and you tear that piece of paper, it's a piece of paper, but it's a sense of disrespect. That person will feel hurt. Say what you want. Say what you want, the person will feel hurt. Now, the name in the word in Arabic is ism, right? Alif, Sin, Mim. Huh? Okay? Now, in Arabic, when two words join or words change in its form, the alphabets might change a little bit. So, that's why they call the alif one of the letters of the weak letters. Why do you call it weak letter? Because sometimes when the words change, the alif disappears. Sometimes some letters are written and you don't pronounce it. Sometimes letters are not written but you pronounce it. Depends. Okay? But in the case of the Bismillah, the ba here is mean by or with. So with the name of Allah. Right? By the name of Allah. Right? So the word has ism. By the name of Allah. And they say that the word ism might have two meanings. One of it is to mean from the same word as samawati wal ard, the earth, the heavens, sama, from the word of the skies. So it's to be elevated. That's why names ought to be elevated, not to be debased. We don't insult someone by putting their name down. So some scholars debate this and that. So imagine if there's a... Oh, we'll have this with him. But imagine imagine like a child learning how to write, right? Okay. And this is what you have, Bismillah. The question is, the scholars ask, they argue, what happened to this alif? Why is it that when the ba joined with this, ism, why did the alif disappear? Does anybody know why? People who study Arabic grammar to a certain level, you would know. ممكن, نعم. Hamzatul Wasl. Now, I mentioned before that sometimes the words, the alphabets disappear, but the pronunciation is still there. Or sometimes the alphabet is there, but the pronunciation is not there. In this case, the pronunciation is not there and the alphabet is not there, both gone. How come? So there are two schools of grammar typically, right? One of them explain is this. The other one explains is this. They explain the reason why the alif disappeared. Now, when we learn in Yemen, in Tarim, it's a school that they teach you law and grammar, law and grammar, law and grammar, law and grammar. I mean, this is like the main two subjects. Everything else is kind of optional. A typical madrasa. But nevertheless, that doesn't mean they don't teach you spirituality. Sometimes when they teach you law, they're explaining law from the context of spirituality. Sometimes when they teach you grammar, they're teaching you grammar from the context of tafsir. So the teacher was saying this, that regardless of whatever the explanation of the grammar professors say, why the alif disappeared, regardless of their explanation of why the alif disappeared, essentially, nothing high can come before Allah. That's it. Nothing high. Allah's name is not there. Hatta even the ba and the ism and the alif and the sin mim, just make sure they're around there, so that at least when the name of Allah comes, there's a veneration for it, there's a ta'zeem for it. And perhaps it's a coincidence, perhaps this is not. We are the Muhammadan nation, right? We are the nation of the middle path. Correct? This is the bottom line. Huh? Sah? We're the Muhammadan nation. Who's in the middle? Perfectly in the middle. And we know these things don't come as a mere coincidence. There's a secret in this thing. There's a spiritual secret in these things. Now, alhamdulillah. There's a lot of things that have been given to us. Sometimes, if we're able to open our eyes, open the eye of our heart, we might be seeing some things. And some of these things are sometimes given to us from our elders. It might not be from scholars, from our righteous older people who have served our community in one way or another, or some of our parents who might not know hadith but have honored their guests, have honored their family members when they were sick, they go and visit. These are things that build ourselves so that we are ready for turbulent times, as this topic suggests. Now, alhamdulillah. So that's just one small thing that I can share to you regarding Bismillah. The point being before that we were talking about was that regarding how Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim exists in 113 of the 114 chapters in the Quran. Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. It's like as though Allah is trying to remind our stubborn heads, have Rahman, have Rahim, have Rahman, have Rahim. So most of us live in cities, so we're going to have normally in city lives, things are going to be hard sometimes, and we are difficult with our brothers sometimes, we're difficult with our wife and children sometimes, we're difficult with our parents sometimes. But it's to have rahmah when we deal with one another. It's not always about arguing and debating about who's right and who quote the right dalil and who made the right explanation for Tawheed. Just be gentle a bit. We were sitting with one of the scholars, he's from the Middle East, and there was a retreat in Oman, and he was talking to some young people. You might have friends that argue with you, hey, the earth is flat and not round. What do you say? You say, okay. Just smile at the guy, okay, tamam. This guy say, no, the earth is round, it's not flat. Okay, what's the point? What's the point of this argument? What's the point you to get to this debate, whether it's flat or round? You know what it is what it is. What he's trying to say is that look at the bigger picture. Okay, let me illustrate it in a better way. Because maybe some of you have strong feelings about that subject. Allahu Akbar. So one time there was a sheikh, and or you can say a guru and a disciple. Karate, kung fu, whatever, right? Miyagi, I don't know. Or maybe you can say a sheikh of Islam and his students. And he's got a student there, a murid, a student, a disciple. They're learning from the Sheikh, learning from the Guru. And he's got other classmates, and the classmates come, and the teacher says, okay, you are graduated, go. You're ready to go. Go. Another guy comes, go. This one guy, he's been there for years with learning with the Guru. Is not, the teacher never tells him, okay, you're done. Never. But everyone else is, okay, come, go, okay, come, go, okay, come, go. After 1 year, 2 years, whatever, come, go. Find this guy, he cannot take it anymore. He asks the Guru, hey, when is my turn? People have come after me and have left before me. And I'm still here under your tutelage, under your learning. And until now, you never tell me I'm done, I'm graduated, I can go. When is it my turn? So the Sheikh goes to the Guru, goes to the wall, takes a charcoal, and does this. Then he says to the disciple, what do you see? And the disciple says, I see 3 dots. And then the Guru says, exactly. There's a wall in front of you, and all you see is 3 dots. You're not ready. And this is what I'm saying, that we need to deal with the brothers, because sometimes when we talk about turbulent times, we talk about, oh, this country is attacking us, or oh, the government is hating on us. And how is it among ourselves? Right? How is it among ourselves? Yeah, within brothers ourselves, and if we're not clear with the concept of rahmah, the concept of mercy, concept of love, aina mutahabbina fillah, why the people who love for the sake of Allah? I mean, have you seen atheists when they meet each other, they hug the way you do? They don't. Right? I don't even know if Buddhists do that. I don't know. I'm not trying to put them down, but do Christian guys, when they meet, hug? No, it's not, right? Maybe a certain culture, say in Italy, marhaba, they do, or maybe, but as a universal culture, have you seen they do that when they meet each other, they hug? I've only seen it with the Muslims. I'll give you another example. There's a brother I know from Southern Africa. He's from the southern region of Africa. He was working in the UK. Okay, and when we talk about turbulent, we tend to think chaos, COVID, people fighting over tissue or toilet paper, right? Remember last time? Okay, so this brother, he's from Southern Africa. He was not Muslim. I think he said he was 18, 19 years old, and he was trying to live the hip-hop life. He was working in the gym, selling membership, and at night he was working in a nightclub as a bouncer. He told me this story. He's a friend of mine. Yeah, I make friends with people like that, yes. Anyway, you listen to that and it's okay, you'll find out. So he says that he was selling a gym membership. And he's, you want to make money, 18-year-old boy, living in the UK, coming from Africa, you're trying to make it rich, So he tried to close a sale. So there was a Bengali guy, I think I told the story the other day, yeah. There was a Bengali guy that came to see the gym. And he showed a tour, right? And all the Bengali guy asked was that, your pool, is there a split time for men and other time for women? And nobody's ever asked him that question before. And the guy who's selling the gym membership just says, no. At the same time, he's thinking, this Bengali guy doesn't look gay. Right? Like, why is he asking me if there's a time just for men and a time just for women? Right? Anyway, he dismissed the point, and then he goes and shows the tour again, and then finally they arrive at the pool. And of course, men will be in the pool. And he's trying to show, there's a yoga room, there's this, you can do this. If you sign up with a membership, you get this, you get that. And they say, so in the pool, is there a time where it's just men only, and there's a time when it's women only? And the kid's like, why is he asking me this question? He says, no, it's normal. It's like a normal pool. Everybody uses anytime you want to use. Men, women, doesn't matter. Anyway, so 2 weeks later, I think he does like a reminder call to the guy, say, hey, are you interested in gym? And the guy says, hey, why don't you come to my house for dinner? And it shocks him. Why? This guy's asking me to come to his house for dinner. Nobody ever asked me to come to their house for dinner. Not my friends, not my colleagues, especially not a client or potential client. Such an odd behavior thinking. Okay, never mind. Then I think like a week or 2 weeks later, they do like a reminder call him to close the sale. And the guy is asking some questions. He's warming up. Okay, maybe I get to close his sale. He's going to sign membership. Anyway, then he says, talk about dinner again. Come to my house for dinner. The guy's like, finally, okay, you know what? I want to close the sale. I'm trying to make money. Fine. I'm just going to say yes to his dinner. Go to his house for dinner. I said, but because he's suspicious, what he does is that he said, I'm going to wear my Timberlands. So if anything happens, I can kick him. Okay? I can kick him. And then he had like a nice watch, not like a fancy watch, but like a semi-nice looking watch. He said, I wore that watch because it's one of those watch where if anything happens, I clip it open, it will fall here, then I can punch the guy. Right? So he's planning all these things in his head. If anything happens at the house that he goes to. So he goes to the house, it's a Bengali household in the UK, walks in, the first thing they say, oh, welcome, please take off your shoes. And the guy's like, come on, no, can't take off my shoes. Because he's already thinking, like, no, we have to take off his shoes. Everybody take off your shoes. And they start having this small argument. And he looks, yes, there's all the shoes there. But why would they take off their shoes? Why don't you wear shoes? You're not going to sleep. Fine, finally he takes off his shoes. Take off his shoes, he sits down there. He doesn't know this is a da'wah move. This Bengali guy basically has a da'wah move, right? He invites 3 of his friends, they sit down. So now it's him on the sofa and 3 other guys around him. And he's really thinking, okay, when I'm going to get ready now. His hands are in his wrist, going to open the watch, clip and jump these guys. Like, what's going on? And they're being very friendly. Makes him very suspicious. This is the interesting point. He becomes very suspicious because of how friendly they are. Right? Because he said, I come from an environment where the boys are not friendly to each other like this. In the UK, in my same circle, where these guys are living in the same city we live, right? And then what happens is that they bring out food. They bring out food, and he's thinking, okay, so maybe this is where they put some stuff in the food. I'm going to fall asleep or something like something's going to happen. So what does he do? He's thinking, I'm smart. Sir, hey, come, let's eat. No, you eat first. No, you eat first. No, you're the guest. You have to eat first. No, you eat first. Because he doesn't want to eat. He thinks there's something in the food. I say, I'm not going to eat it until you guys eat it. And he goes again, another argument. In the end, they start eating together. Anyway, so that's the second hitch point, right? The third one is what I mentioned about the way they spoke. He says, at that point of my life, everyone around me in that same city, us as boys, what we do to each other is that when we meet and chit-chat, we will be boasting about what did we buy, or how much money we got, or who did we maybe beat up, or which girl did we get to sleep with. And not just about celebrating ourselves, but there was also a constant attempt about putting down the other person. Oh, come on, bro, look at that shirt, you look like a clown. Oh, come on, did your grandmother dress you like this? It's British humor in that sense, right? It's always putting each other down. He said, but with these 3 Bengali boys, they were always praising each other. That's what struck him. They were always praising each other. What's going on? Anyway, so he leaves. Finally, he leaves the house. Nothing happens. No drama. He said, okay, that's very good. I don't know whether this guy's going to sign the gym membership or not because the subject didn't come up. I think they gave him a copy of the Quran or something, gave him a book. Anyhow, eventually he becomes Muslim. He masters Arabic and now he's a translator between English and Arabic. Translates many books. But the point is that that's what the life of some of these people are like. That in their environments with a bunch of brothers like this is going to be always an environment of putting each other down. Now, if you don't see it in the Christians, if you don't see it in the atheists, then what was then the factor, what was the reason why the Muslims behave the way they are? Why do Muslims behave the way they do? If it wasn't because of Tarbiyat al-Muhammad sallallahu. There's a tarbiyah that we received. And I spoke to a convert also 2 weeks ago in the UK, and he said the same thing. He says, after I became Muslim, when I was walking inside the mosque, I was a bit awkward, I didn't know how to pray, I didn't know where to stand, whatever. But nevertheless, that was the first time I felt fully safe in my city. I had never felt safe around a bunch of men except it was the first time at that mosque. That I didn't have to worry that someone might stab me, or someone might say something not nice to me, or someone might say. So when we think about turbulent times as the subject suggests tonight, the subject speaks tonight, turbulent also means in that sense that people are just like, they're not at ease. They're not, and it is this sort of thing that we need. And my perhaps I can say my message to you is that my request rather is to not keep these things inside the mosque only. Bring it out to the streets, bring it out to the office, bring it out to your neighbors' houses, bring it out to your friends' houses. Aina mutazawirin fillah, where the people that love Allah love each other for Allah's sake, where the people that visit Allah for each other's sake. One of the slaves was making dua. He says, oh Allah, where are you? Where are you? In his grave, he says, Allah says to him, had you went to visit the sick people, you would have found me next to them. Have you went to visit the poor people, you would have found me there next to them. Have you done this, you would found me next to them. It's not, it's good that we have the halakas and we have the jama'ah in the mosque, but, be of service and bring it up to everyone. Bring peace to everyone. The word, this is such an amazing, this is why Arabic is just too amazing.
Ustad,
Labik.
the people outside, they don't want to read a book if you give a book.
Naam.
They read your akhlaq,
Sah.
your behavior.
Sah. Naam. So the convert that I mentioned to you, the one that converted, he did business with a man from Abu Dhabi 20 years ago, and that man gave him the Quran. And he only decided to open that book 20 years later. So I think depending on how for some people, you're right. If you give me a book, I wouldn't be very nice about it. So give me some chocolates, man. But okay, forgive me. Just to go to this point, which is, if you are if a person commits shirk, okay, shirk is committing partners to Allah. Then that person is a mushrik, right? They add a meme in the front and a dhamma in the front. A meme, and then at the bottom here, so I want you to pay attention to this point. Those three things happen. There's the original word, and this is what happens. If there's a theft, steal something, the person becomes a mushrik. He's a thief, right? They steal things. Okay? So if a person has salam, he is a Muslim. That means that person does not just have peace, but he is an agent of peace. So linguistically, being a Muslim itself is not just a person, alhamdulillah, I believe in Islam. No. Let's illustrate that. That means if you walk into your household, does your wife and children feel more peace or less peace? You see? If you walk into a shop, whether it's a Muslim shop or non-Muslim shop, do people feel more at peace by your presence or not? If you walk into an office, do people in the office feel more peace or less peace? If they feel more peace, then indeed you're a bearer of peace. I think we can end it tonight because it's 10:10 now. But I just wanted to leave you with that. How now do we carry that vessel of truth? Like I said, the truth speaks for itself. Our job is only to be trustees, to allow that trust to come into our vessel and to hold it so the next generation might come and be there. So that on the day of judgment, inshallah, when Prophet ﷺ looks at us, that we know his name and that he knows our name. And then he can look at us and he can say, yes, you were from my people who carried my trust. You were from my people that made me proud. And I am proud of you. I mean, inshallah, may we be from that people. May Allah grant us that station. And Allah make it easy for us to bring peace to people. And Allah grant peace to the people in Gaza and West Bank, in Libya and Sudan and Yemen and many parts of the world. And for the people who are living in peaceful environments, may Allah grant them peace in their hearts. And for the people who are not guided, may Allah guide them and grant them peace. Alhamdulillah. Allahumma salli wa sallam. Forgive me for any shortcomings. Alhamdulillah. Oh, nice finish. No more sniffing. Yeah. Forgive me, I hope he's okay. No, that time's up, kan? I assume.
Finished.
Okay.
So, of course, Alhamdulillah, Jazakallah khair, Ustad, for sharing your thoughts and sharing your knowledge. Is there anyone with certain questions? Brother?
Jazakallah. Thank you very much for your nice presentation. You mentioned the power of names in the name of Allah, and there are other names also of Allah. So I've learned that some people from physics, they say that everything is vibration. So everything we feel or everything in the world is vibration. So how can the names of Allah help us to get our vibrations higher? So this is more spiritual question.
Yeah. Okay, so I can't answer that, I think, on that level, but I'll share with you what a therapist once shared with me. Okay, the question was that all things are essentially vibration, sounds are vibration, and things move with a vibration, in summary, and that how is it that through Allah's names that these vibrations can help us elevate higher from a spiritual level. I will share a simpler example because I'm a simple-minded person, and I don't think so. I studied enough these things to answer that particular point in that fashion. So you know that many army soldiers, when they go back home to their countries, they suffer with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, syndrome. Okay. And they discovered that many of them, even with therapy and talking and whatever, it doesn't really solve their traumatic issues. They still get bad dreams and so forth and so forth and so forth. If you look at a deer, when a deer runs from a tiger, for example, and the deer escapes, the tiger didn't catch the deer, and now the deer is standing still. What happens to the deer? They're shaking, right? They say that that's the deer releasing the trauma of what just happened a moment ago, right? And you see it with children. When the children, they start crying, and then when they recover from crying, they're done crying, it's finished. But it goes on for like sometimes 30 minutes, right? It's releasing all that anger and the emotions that they had. So what they found is that there's an exercise that they do whereby you stand by the wall, you sit against the wall. So there's no chair, you just sit against the wall, and they basically put a lot of stress on your thighs. And they do some things, to really make your thighs at stress. And then they tell you to lie down and fold your legs, and you notice that, and you try to slowly close your legs, close your knees together. And you notice when you do that, it starts to shake by itself because it's under a lot of stress. It's trying to release that stress. That's another form of vibration, right? So the point is that they found out that to help some of these soldiers, they had to use vibrations in order to release deeper traumas that the tongue couldn't really verbalize, right? Because they needed to vibrate in order to get to that part. In Malaysia, there are some places where they put someone who's semi-paralyzed or fully paralyzed on a horse. Every day they just put the person on a horse and make the horse walk. Some people heal because that horse vibration, you kept on shaking throughout the whole body. It was activating, waking up the whole body. And it worked for some people. I don't know how many people, what's the statistics, but it worked for some people. Now, we mentioned that sound is vibration. Essentially, all this is a vibration. That's how the sounds travel, right? So this Hakim, it was a prophetic medicine practitioner. He was explaining that don't Muslims get vibration about 5 times a day? غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. That's just the minimal dose. Now, of course, for those who want more, who need more, who want to get more, go and do more. Like the 5 prayers of the day is supposed to be the very basic. So just by coming to Jama'ah alone and praying, you imagine the whole hall, whether it's 50 people in a small room or 1,000 people in a large hall. Ameen. What does that do to a room? Right? What does it do to the enemies who are watching? Oh, this guy is, I'm not going to mess with this guy. Right? It does something to people, And sometimes people sit down with dhikr, subhanallah, 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 subhanallah. When it's done together, right? You know that in when armies, when they march, they break formation when they cross a bridge. You know this. Because when they march on the bridge might collapse. Because that's the power of that vibration, that thumping, together people thumping at the same time. 500 people going. It's happened before in battles where the bridge collapsed. So they say when it comes to a bridge, they stop marching. They just walk like normal. Now that's, of course, other manifestations. I'm saying that we have it as a base 5 times a day. And for those who want more, the shuyukh have prescribed more. There are dhikrs, there's hadras, there's mawlid, whatever you want to do. Drums from African Yemeni tradition, East Southeast Asia. What does that do to a person? It's not just for entertainment. This shuyukh that introduce this to their jama'ah, it's not just for entertainment. Oh, let's have some kendang. I know, man, it's like, it does things to you. Anyway, that's what I would share. This is much as I would share about vibrations. Allah want you. Waktu ya? Up to you, I'm okay, but because you guys are working.
We're still up. I think we can go for another hour. Well, indeed, to be conscious of time, we would like to again thank you for the knowledge that you shared, and of course for your attendance here tonight. To give honors to the Ustad, inshallah, we may take the spirit of what he just shared tonight home to our outside also. And that's, I think one of the essential messages is to take this this vibration that we feel here amongst each other, also outside, to the sick, to the poor, to those who haven't seen Allah yet in their heart yet. So may Allah keep us strong and keep us tawakkul in these turbulent times, and make this gathering a strong gathering of which others can benefit, inshallah. And of course to Rukun Islam, Pak Fauzi, and the students here, students of knowledge that come here. Thank you for organizing this, accommodating this in such a short notice. But this is just shows the strength of this community, that we can arrange things very swiftly. As well as we have seen also at the Centrum de Middenweg earlier this evening. They were very much open, welcoming, even though on this short notice. Also thanks to them, alhamdulillah, us as partners, PPMA Den Haag of Rukun Islam and Al-Fath, are very much grateful for this effort, alhamdulillah, and may we see more of these efforts in future, controlled remotely by our brother Edo Rahman Hendricks, who is a talib in Tarim with his wife and his daughter. May Allah grant them peace and knowledge. With that, do you want to say some closing remarks? Okay, let us close with Wal Asr and Dua Majlis. Billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wal Asr. Innal insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu wa 'amilus salihati. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. But before we say salam, I'd like to ask the Sheikh to have a dua for us, please.
Bismillah. It is said that Prophet said to his, in the famous hadith whereby says that have many children, so for on the day of judgment, that you will be, because my ummah will be my pride. I'll be proud to see my ummah in great numbers, to have more children. And then from one of the one of the rewards that we get as Muslims is that when we make wudu, that we have to go until the elbow, right? But to extend it above until before our shoulders, and to extend it above our ankles until near our knees. We can do that, we're able to do that, we're recommended to do that. And for those who do that, these parts of their body will be glowing on the day of judgment. And that's one of the ways that the other nations on the day of judgment will know, that's the nation of Muhammad. So inshallah, may on the day of judgment, that we are people who come to the day of judgment with our hands and our legs in glowing form. May Allah allow us to be from the people of glowing limbs, because it's indeed to make one of the ways to make the Prophet ﷺ proud of us. That on the day of judgment, the Prophet ﷺ knows us and we know him. That we are proud to see him and he is proud to see us. That we are in his company and that he wants to be in our company. That may Allah grant us the highest of stations in paradise. Allah grant our parents the highest stations in paradise, and all of the Muslims in the world the highest stations in paradise. And for the people who are not Muslim, we ask that they become Muslim. We ask that they become guided, and in this place continue to receive barakah and increase barakah. May his deeds be accepted, rewarded, compounded, and inspired, not just by the people in The Hague, but also people in any part of the world. May their children also benefit from it. May the souls of the future Muslims that lie in the spine of the men over here today, may one day also be given birth to and also be of inspiration to the people around them. Until their sons and their sons and their sons and their daughters and their daughters and their daughters carry the trust of the Muhammadan trust, the trust of La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. بسم الفاتحة إلى حضرة النبي اللهم صل وسلم وبارك وسلم. الفاتحة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
حياكم الله.